I still remember the exact moment that text came in. It was a Wednesday evening, one of those dull midweek nights where the air feels heavy, and you're too tired to think but too restless to sleep. I just finished washing the dishes when my phone buzzed on the counter. It was from Megan. "No more intimacy. I'm done pretending. Don't try to change my mind." For a moment I thought it was a joke, maybe some misplaced sarcasm after another argument. But when I reread it, my chest tightened. There was no anger in her words. Just finality. I stared at the message, the reflection of the screen casting pale light on the sink water. We hadn't been perfect lately, that much I knew, but this? Ending physical closeness through a text. Something was off. Megan and I had been married for 11 years. We'd met in college. She was all laughter and chaos. I was quiet, the guy who took life too seriously. Somehow it worked. We built a life together. A small house, steady jobs, 2 kids, a dog named Baxter. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. Except lately, I'd felt her slipping away. First, it was subtle. Fewer kisses goodbye. More nights spent on her phone instead of watching our favorite shows. Excuses like, "I'm tired," or "not tonight." I told myself marriage goes through phases. People change, stress happens. You push through. But that text, it didn't feel like a phase. Felt like a line being drawn. When she got home that night, I was sitting at the dining table, pretending to go through bills. She dropped her purse on the counter, kicked off her heels, and gave me a quick, distracted glance. "Hey," she said flatly. "You ate already?" "Yeah." My voice was too calm. "Got your text." She froze mid-step, her face flickering through confusion and guilt before she forced a shrug. "Yeah. I figured we should stop pretending everything's fine." "Megan, that's not something you text your husband." She sighed, rubbing her temple. "You're making it sound dramatic." I need space, okay?" "Space from what?" "Me." "From all of it," she snapped. Then softer. "From trying to feel something that's not there anymore." Her tone was tired. Like she'd rehearsed it. I wanted to yell. I wanted to shake her, demand an explanation. But I didn't. Because deep down I already knew. There was someone else. It wasn't paranoia, it was instinct. The late-night work calls. The perfume that wasn't hers, the secretive smiles when her phone lit up. I'd noticed it all. Just didn't want to face it. That night, after she went upstairs, I sat alone in the dark living room. The sound of her footsteps faded, replaced by the faint hum of her phone vibrating on the counter. One new message. The name flashed briefly before the screen dimmed. E. Waited. My pulse thundered in my ears. When I unlocked it, yes, I did it. I found messages that burned into my eyes like acid. E. Wish you could stay tonight. Megan. You know I can't. He's still awake. E. Then think of me when you close your eyes. Megan. Always do. My hands went cold. I read those lines again and again until they blurred. Every word was a knife. Clean, sharp, deliberate. I wanted to believe it was innocent, a joke, a misunderstanding. But the timestamps told a different story. Their chats went back months. While I'd been fixing the fence, tucking our kids in, cooking her favorite dinners, she'd been living a second life through that glowing screen. And that was Ethan, her manager. The next morning, I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I watched her. Every movement. Every lie that came out disguised as routine. "Staff meeting today," she said as she zipped her bag. "I might be late." I just nodded. "Sure. Don't worry about dinner." She smiled, relieved I hadn't pushed. That was her mistake. Because that evening I followed her. I parked across from the restaurant where she said her meeting was supposed to be. Waited. An hour passed. No sign of any coworkers. Then I saw her. Megan stepping out of her car, scanning the lot, her phone pressed to her ear. A black sedan pulled up, and out stepped Ethan. Tall, confident, the kind of man who didn't look twice at his wedding ring, because he wasn't wearing one. They didn't shake hands. They didn't even hesitate. She went straight into his arms. That moment, seeing her melt into someone else, was the quietest pain I'd ever known. It wasn't screaming or breaking things. It was silence so deep it hollowed me out. Took a photo. One. Just one. Proof. Not for revenge but for truth. Then I drove home. Alone. When she came in later that night, her lipstick was gone, her perfume faint. She looked tired, the kind of tired that comes from lying too long. "Hey," she said, forcing a yawn. "Long day." "Yeah," I said softly. "Must have been." She didn't notice the edge in my voice. She just disappeared into the shower, humming. That night, as she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling. The woman I'd shared a life with was right there, and yet a million miles away. I realized something then. She expected me to beg, plead, to ask why aren't we close anymore? What can I do? But I wasn't going to beg. I'd already done enough pleading in silence. I was done. The next morning I made coffee like always. Pancakes for the kids. Routine. Predictable. Then I went to my lawyer. I didn't tell her right away. I wanted everything in place first, the financials, custody plan, property division. I wasn't out for revenge. Just fairness. 2 weeks later, when I finally confronted her, she didn't see it coming. I waited until after dinner. The kids were in their rooms. The TV murmured softly in the background. "Megan," I said, my voice steady. "Who's Ethan?" Her fork froze midair. Color drained from her face. "What?" "You heard me." I slid my phone across the table. The photo of her and Ethan locked in that embrace filling the screen. She went pale. "You followed me." "I followed my wife," I said quietly. "I just didn't know she wasn't mine anymore." She started crying, not out of remorse but out of fear. "It's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like." Then I handed her the divorce papers. Her eyes widened. "You can't be serious." "I am." "You wanted space, remember? You said you were done pretending." She stared at me, shaking. "David, please. I made a mistake." "It wasn't." I stood up. "No, Megan. The mistake was thinking I'd still be here when you decided to stop pretending." The days that followed were chaos. She tried everything, tears, apologies, even anger. "You're really going to destroy our family over one mistake," she shouted once. "No," I said. "You already did." It wasn't easy. Our kids didn't understand at first. I didn't badmouth her. I couldn't. She was still their mother. But the truth has a way of bleeding through, even in silence. I moved into a small apartment a few miles away. Empty, quiet, peaceful in a way that hurt and healed at the same time. There were nights I missed her. The routine, the warmth beside me, the laughter that used to fill the house. But then I'd remember that text. "No more intimacy. Don't try to change my mind." She had already let me go long before I left. Months passed. I learned to cook for one. I started running again, something I hadn't done since before the kids were born. And slowly, I began to feel something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. Not from her, but from that constant weight of trying to hold together something that was already broken. One evening, as I picked the kids up for the weekend, Megan waited by the door. She looked different, smaller somehow. "David," she said softly. "I'm sorry." He nodded. "I know. Do you ever think maybe we could have fixed it?" I looked at her for a long moment. "Maybe. But you stopped trying before I did." There was no anger in my voice. Just truth. She nodded, tears welling up, but I turned to the kids and smiled. Ready to go. As we drove off, I caught a glimpse of her in the rearview mirror, standing in the doorway watching us leave, the same way I'd once watched her walk into someone else's arms. People think betrayal destroys you all at once. Doesn't. It dismantles you piece by piece. Every lie, every excuse, every distant look. But here's what I learned. Sometimes losing someone who stopped loving you isn't loss at all. It's release. Megan thought I'd beg when she said, "No more intimacy." She thought I'd crawl, cling, bargain for affection. But the truth was simple. I'd already given her everything I had. And once I saw what she did with it, begging wasn't an option anymore. Walking away was. And for the first time in years I felt alive doing it.